Yeah, Mike, what do you think about that? Ajax just absolutely played Juventus apart, didn't they?
Yeah, it's wow, it's incredible. I mean, going into the tie, you think back to last week and you look at how they played, and they played them out of the park, and it was kind of like the first leg in against Real Madrid where you thought, oh, they played really well, but they've sort of missed their chance because they didn't take their chances. And the start of the game, it was a bit nervy from Ajax. I thought Juventus dominated it, but after about 20 minutes, Ajax found their footing and they sort of pinned them back. I thought that the Juventus goal came out of nothing. They weren't really on top at that moment. But Ajax didn't let their heads down. I think they noticed at some point that this game was for the taking, and it finished 2-1. But you've got to say that Ajax could have easily won this game 3-1, 4-1, and it would have been totally deserved. It's just incredible. I mean, this team is just amazing, and right now you should say that they should fear no one. I mean, Tottenham or Manchester City. If you think Manchester City get through, they come into this game as probably favourites, but so did Real Madrid and Juventus, and they both got played off the park. I mean, Juventus for many people were the favourites for the whole competition. You just got Ronaldo, they're going to win the Champions League now, but no. I mean, Ajax were over two legs by far the better side. It's just incredible for Dutch football, and I can't remember many nights like this watching a Dutch team in action.
Yeah, well, no Dutch teams made it to the Champions League semi-final since PSV did in 2005, I think it was. And it's just unbelievable how good this Ajax team is. It's so special to just watch this team develop. At the start of the season, we thought they might have been favourites for the Eredivisie title and they might have done something in Europe. But the fact that they've got to the Champions League semi-final is it's worlds apart from, I guess, what we expected. I think we knew that we were like a fantastic group of young players, but this good. Frenkie de Jong was brilliant, midfield, and it wasn't even his best game either. Matthijs de Ligt, he made a mistake for the first goal, but then scored the winning goal, so just to make up for it, and even more so. Ziyech was being dangerous as always. Nelish's pace was really useful, and I even thought Tadic had a really quiet first half, but then even so, like he still was vital in winning this match, and they've done so well against Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, now Juventus, and it's just who's next, please? Because I think Ajax could do exactly the same to whoever they play next. But how is it so that this Ajax team's come about? Because I'm just in utter disbelief that they've made it this far.
I think you got to say it comes round through confidence. I think what they showed in the group stages is just giving them that lift. I mean, they've got two exceptional players in the squad, and that's Matthijs de Ligt and Frenkie de Jong. I mean, these are two potentially world-class players in their positions, and then just the whole team gels. You see how dangerous they are around the box and how quickly they break. I mean, the one touch, two touch around the box for the goals and how many chances it created. It's incredible. Like, this team is just perfectly gelled together. You even look at its weak spots. So you thought that Tagliafico going out would have been disastrous, but Veltman comes in at right back, Mizraoui goes in the left back, then Singh-Gravin comes in and he does an exceptional job. There's just so many talents in the squad right now. It doesn't really seem to matter who's missing. They seem to gel and they seem to work perfectly. And you got to say that's down to Ten Hag and what an incredible job he's done over the past few months. Because it was only a few months ago we were talking about him maybe not lasting as Ajax boss because some things were going on behind the scenes that people weren't happy with. But now he's on the course for a treble. You got to say they're favourites for the title. You got to say they're favourites for the KNVB Cup against Willem II. And who knows? I mean, you can't say they can't beat Tottenham, and they'd have a chance against Manchester City. And then after that, it's probably going to be Barcelona. I mean, what a perfect lineup that would be if they can beat Tottenham, that's filled with ex-Ajax players, and then beat Barcelona between the history of them two clubs. I mean, a Barcelona-Ajax final would be incredible.
It would be unreal, and the fact that you've got players that are going to the likes of Barcelona and all these big clubs, and yet they're with Ajax and they're doing the same job already that they want to achieve in their career. But you said about the treble. Surely not. Surely that's not possible.
Why not? You write off this team like every week. I seem to write them off. I seem to think, oh, Juventus are going to win this one, Real Madrid are going to win this one. And then they just come up with another absolutely amazing performance. Who can write off this side now? Nobody.
No, they can't, can they? But you said when the match started that odds were getting a bit stacked up against Ajax. Of course, Juventus had a few injuries too, didn't they? But then when Tagliafico was out and then Mazraoui went down injured and Ajax was sitting deep for their first 20 minutes, they weren't really able to get out of their shell, were they? They weren't able to pass their way out. And it just felt like that it just wasn't going to be their night, and it just looked like Juventus were targeting the fullback areas because they knew that Veltman wasn't the quickest. They knew that Sint-Kraven wasn't the best left-back option that Ajax had, and then it all just turned on its head towards the end of the half. It was a little bit of luck, wasn't it? But it's just fully deserved at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you got to say that, their goal, you got to look it back and you got to wonder what De Ligt was doing, pushing over Veltman, who probably, what was he thinking? But yeah, and then he just got that slice of luck with that Ziyech shot that was deflected. I mean, in the second half, I was getting quite annoyed with Ziyech because he seemed to be doing a few things that were quite selfish. But then, you look back at that first goal, if Ziyech doesn't take a shot from, 25 yards out, their goal never comes about. So, you got to have these players that try something a bit different, and Ziyech's definitely that. I mean, this is something extra special that Ajax have at the moment.
Yeah, it is. And then the second half, it just really ran away with it, didn't they? And you see players like Donny van de Beek, I think he probably was man of the match for Ajax tonight. Yeah, I don't know if you agree. Yeah, you agree. And it's just, I said on Twitter actually about this, that at the start of the season, he wasn't getting into the Ajax team. He wasn't being threatening enough in the box. He wasn't doing enough work on the pitch. He wasn't accurate enough with his passes. And now look at him, man of match tonight against Juventus, sending Ajax through to the semi-final of the Champions League. I think just owe that all down to Erik ten Hag for his development and how he's dealt with him, and it's just said, like, you're not going to play in the Ajax first team until you prove yourself. I think Van der Beek thought that the first team place was his, just naturally, because every summer players leave and he can take the first team berth. But I think Ten Hag just managed that perfectly. The fact that Van der Beek had to wait for his chance, he had to prove himself, and now look at him now as a first team starter, and his attitude's so much better on the pitch. But you can say that about so many of the players. Like Ziyech as well, his attitude was just brilliant on the pitch tonight. Yeah, he was still being a bit maybe a little bit too confident, trying a few too many shots, but as you say, like, because of what he did, the goals came about, and just brilliant.
Yeah, and you've got to say that it's nights like this, you got to wonder why so many players are so eager to leave Ajax when a big club comes in, because you think of what this team could achieve if they were spent another 3 years together. But this summer, because of games like this, all the clubs are going to come in for the Tadic's, the Ziyechs, and this team's going to be ripped apart. But Van der Beek's one that I think that they're going to try and keep, and I think if Ten Hag can speak him around and say that you're going to be a key player next year, I think he will stay. I think Onana's already signed up for next season. I can't really see Blind going. I think nights like this are going to be so vital, and Ajax actually try and convince some of these players to stick around.
Yeah, it's huge for Ajax's future. The fact they get this far and then persuade players to stay also makes a big difference. The money they're going to get, it makes a big difference for Dutch football as a whole. The league's going to get more money now. Just because it all filters down, and of course the coefficient. I think that I found myself forgetting completely about the whole Dutch coefficient until right at the end of the match. I was like, oh yeah, that's just going to boost it even further, which is just fantastic. I think we just have to enjoy nights like this tonight, don't we, Mike? And just really appreciate that's why we love Dutch football, because we got to see this Ajax team develop throughout the years, and now look at it. Now it's just flying, absolutely flying.
Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting time ahead for the Dutch football. Go look at what the Dutch national team are doing at the moment and what this Ajax side can achieve. It's just after a few bad years for the Eredivisie and the Dutch national team, it's good to have some success again, and long may it continue, because this is a side that can hopefully, fingers crossed, go all the way in the Champions League. That would just be incredible. And it's great for the Champions League as well. I mean, fans don't want to see these top teams going to hit against each other and playing really defensive football. I mean, would anybody really enjoy watching this Juventus side sit back and grind out 1-0 wins, or you can watch this free-flowing Ajax side win games? I mean, this is what the Champions League is about. This is about watching teams at their best, going for the best trophy in football. And Ajax are a team that are playing probably, other than maybe Barcelona, the best football in this competition at the moment. And they fully deserve to be in the Final Four.
They do, and this isn't just a mediocre team that are sitting back and defending the whole match, getting a bit of luck and scoring from a corner. Although Ajax did score from a corner tonight, but so did Juventus. You know, this isn't the Greece team that won Euro 2004. This is a brilliant team that just like can pass a team to death. And it's so quick around the box, creating so many opportunities, and this is just such a surprise and such a pleasant surprise for the whole of Europe to watch, whole world to watch. That a team from the Netherlands can be so important again. I think few can argue that it's probably the best team to come from the Netherlands since the 1995 Champions League final win. I think you'd agree with that, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. But what's important is that, you know, Dutch football needs to build on this and build on the success of the side. I really hope that the money that comes into Ajax, to reinvest it, bring in big name players in the summer. I mean, these games should attract the big name players to the Eredivisie to play for a club like Ajax, because this is what you can achieve. Tadic swapped the Premier League for this, and now he's not in a relegation battle with Southampton. He's in the Champions League semi-finals, and that's what this team can offer some players that are in the Premier League or La Liga for playing for sides that finish third, fourth every year. I mean, they could be challenging for the Champions League with this side. And you got to look at, this might challenge like the PSV and Feyenoord to try and do something a bit different next year. You know, these clubs have got to try and keep up with this Ajax side who are going to have millions and millions and millions to spend in the summer. And the more viewers and the more money it brings into Dutch football can only make the league better in the long run.
Yeah, that's true. And I think those that are watching this now are probably the ones that love Dutch football so much, and it's great for all of us to watch it and enjoy it, and nights like this make it really special.
Definitely, it's what the Dutch football is all about, attacking football that's good on the eye, and it produces performances like this. I mean, who doesn't love games like this, and who doesn't love Dutch football now? I mean, the amount of people now that will be watching this Ajax side and that will become fans of Dutch football through this is great, and long may it continue.
Yeah, long may it continue. Cheers, Mike.
Daar is hij. Ja! Ja! Daar is Klaassen. Goal!